the purpose for this podcast is twofold. One is we talk about being grateful for the lives that we have and seeing how fortunate we are, even when we are stuck in our own heads and we're stuck in our own limiting beliefs and we can't rise. So when we are talking with Jessica today, this is a prime example of how good you've got it. Because when you hear some of the stories we're going to talk about today of these children who've got these lives, they don't believe they can transcend it. They don't walk into Victory Project thinking there's something more for them, because there is absolutely no evidence of that in their lives today. Look at your life and say, okay, if this kid who is sitting in really, literally sometimes the dark and doesn't have food, doesn't have someone home when they come home, can do this really hard thing, so can I. I can do so much with what I've got. And also, we preach this all the time. When you are stuck, serve, and you're going to get unstuck. I'm sure there is something like this in your community. And if this isn't it, find somewhere to serve, because there's somewhere you can put all of that time, talent, treasure you've got, and they need it. Welcome to No More Bullshit. I'm Peggy.
And I'm Marci.
We are two women who believe that life's trials aren't happening to us, they're happening for us.
And we're here to help you turn every why me into watch me.
Because shifting out of victim mode and into empowerment is what we do best.
So join us as we cut through the bullshit and help you see how strong you really are. Awesome, yeah. Jessica. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Victory Project.
So I am a wife, a mother. My husband and I actually planted a church, so we're pastors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We do a little bit of everything.
I love that.
And I come from an education background. So I was a musician, been a musician for as long as I can remember.
Nice.
And was teaching in the school systems, working with kids, and found out about Victory Project just through a couple different channels, and really knew when I saw the position for the girls' campus that this was where I was supposed to be at. It was kind of like one of those moments where you know that God has just created a space for you. And I was like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be at. So that's how I got involved. I've been there for 8 months and I love it. Absolutely love it.
So you're living a life you're excited to get out of bed for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I tell people that all the time. Like, I love my job.
Aww.
And I love that I can say that. I think this is the first time that I've actually been truly able to say that.
Wow. So did you come from the work from a different job into this?
I did, yeah. So I was teaching, and that's not to say that I don't love kids, because I love kids. But it just wasn't that wasn't where I was supposed to be at.
And what a great story, because you were doing something worthwhile that you felt passionate about, and you realized this doesn't feel true to me, even though it's good.
Yeah.
And I love that you were brave enough. Like, I think everyone, or at some point you feel that nudge, that God nudge, like, go this direction, trust my wisdom, trust my guidance. And you were brave enough to be like, okay, I don't know how, I'm going to walk and trust and go.
I think I've always known that I was called to be a builder. And so, like, sometimes hiding in the background is my default. Like, I prefer to be in the background. But I know that God was just pushing me to get out there and to build. I just really feel called to build. And so this was just like in such alignment with what God's already called me to do.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. And so what a great example of just listening, even though it was uncomfortable, even though you were probably scared, I'm going to guess.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You probably still are a little scared.
You don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, we're Victory Project, we're building something completely different. So Victory Project's been around for 17 years, and it's been only for boys for 17 years. And now we're building a girls' campus, and this is completely different.
Boys and girls are so different, and you are getting these girls during, their menstrual years. Those hormones are unchecked.
Yeah.
Like, you are a brave woman, Jessica, going into the fire.
You know how God prepares you, though? My daughter is 12.
Okay, you're living it.
So she's right in the middle of...
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
So kind of
at home and at work.
Right. For sure.
So kind of give us the origin story about, like, how Victory Project even started.
Sure. So we have an amazing CEO and founder, Monty Bush, and he is former law enforcement. And he really was seeing a lot of young men just getting calls in from grandmothers and mothers and guardians who were unsure of how to handle their young sons. And so getting those calls, and then he retired from the law enforcement. He was so concerned about those young men that he had come across. He would see them maybe on the news, they had gotten in trouble and were going to jail, or, sometimes he would even see obituaries from young
Wow.
men that he knew he had interacted with. And he was just like, God, I got to do something for these young men.
Mhm.
And that's really where Victory Project came from. It was a desire for him to see disengaged young men get off the streets.
And we talk about this so much, how God will put a desire in your heart, and sometimes you don't listen. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
And think of how
He
many
did.
lives got changed because he listened to that desire.
The numbers are insane. Like over 700 alumni from Victory Project,
Wow.
10 years,
That's amazing.
which is
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
And when you think about, like, had that not been their path, what percentage of those students would have fallen into a life of crime or been in prison or jail, which is, horrible for them, like, but also financial burden on society. I mean, it's just like a win-win-win to, like, lift up and elevate humans.
Absolutely. Yeah. They get such exposure to just a different life.
And it's been sustained, which is amazing, without any government assistance.
Yeah. People are always so amazed when I tell them that, like, our organization is not government funded. They're like, what? How?
Mhm. Yeah.
I love it, though. It's people who come alongside who say this is work that's worthy of investing in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's making a huge difference on the day-to-day.
Yeah. We have alumni who still come and hang out with the boys on Fridays. Fridays is our members only day. So alumni will come and hang out with the boys and play games with them. We have an alumni on our board.
That's amazing.
And what's he doing now?
He's in the military, I believe Air Force.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So I've been there and served. And what I have loved when we've gone is the enthusiasm the boys have for guests. Like, they're not just there to get, whatever meal you're bringing in and, going through the motions. They want you to hang out with them after. Like, they look forward to it. And they're so well-spoken and polite, and they love to share their experience. They're really proud of it.
They are very much
very
so.
proud of it.
It's a proud point. So let's dive in a little bit, just to get real. And if we have to put a warning on this episode, we will.
Okay.
But go ahead and tell us, what are some of the struggles that some of the students are coming with? Like, where do they start? Maybe like personal struggles, life struggles, emotional struggles. Just get real. We can get real here.
Yeah. So when Monty first started Victory Project, several of the students were coming from the court systems. They were juvenile court involved and just having a lot of different struggles. Some of the young men were like the head of the household.
Wow.
15, 16.
Wow.
They're taking care of mom, grandma, sisters, other brothers. They were responsible for even financially supporting their families. And so that's why the working piece of Victory Project is so important.
True.
Because it gives these young men an opportunity to make money the right way.
Yes.
And so some of the young men that I've interacted with currently, a lot of them come from group homes. So they don't have a mom and a dad, but they have guardians who are taking care of several young men who are in the same group home.
Which has to be challenging, too, because you become the product of what you're around. And, if those group homes are not necessarily having the same kind of heart that Victory Project does, there's, you're breaking that cycle of what they're experiencing the majority of their time versus what they're experiencing when they're with you guys.
And it's amazing to see because so many of these young men are coming from the same group home. So they're almost being advocates for Victory Project and a program with their fellow peers in the house,
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
They're shifting it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And they're excited to come.
Yeah.
They're like, I got to get there. Oh, they wouldn't take me right now, so I'm going to ride the bus and come.
Oh,
wow.
They can't wait to come. They can't wait to be a part.
Awesome. I know I did a little life coaching class there, and one of the students, first I told all of them, like, you're not powerful enough to undo God's plan for you. So anything in your past, God's not like, well, I didn't see that one coming. That
Right.
derailed your whole life.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the boys telling me he would get drunk every day at 12 years old.
Mm.
And his mom was an alcoholic, and she'd pass out, and then he'd drink her alcohol, and just every day at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked coming to Victory Project, he said, because he could work.
Yeah.
And that really drew him in.
Yeah, I remember I was kind of in the interview process for my current position at Victory Project. I'm sitting down at a meal for one of the evenings and talking to one of the young men, and he just was sharing about himself and just said, "Oh, me and my mom, we're homeless right now, but we're working on finding a stable place. But I love being able to come here, and but he said it's so nonchalant."
Yes.
It was almost like,
It was so
it was so
normalized.
normal. Like,
Right.
I'm homeless and, but we're working through it, but such a sweet young man. I was just like, you just don't know
Right.
what these young people are going through and what
Yeah.
they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But you'd never be able to tell.
Yeah.
You see the smiles and you see the interactions and you're just like, oh, wow, they're great, and you don't know what they're dealing with when they go home.
Because during that time there at Victory Project, everybody is the same, right?
Yeah.
You're all in the
Yeah.
same environment, and
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
seeing the reality of their world when they're not with you.
Mhm.
And this is, I think, one of the things you just said, he was so sweet. And he was just sharing with me his heart, his life, just normal, but he was really well spoken and he was a great kid. And I think society tends to have a certain preconceived idea
Yeah.
Right.
around people in his type of a circumstance
Mhm.
that is so
Mhm.
false.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so false. So we discount the person behind the situation. And I love that you guys are breaking that.
Oh, yeah. I love that they can come to Victory Project and just exhale.
Yeah,
That's kind
that's
of the
good.
thought behind it. Like, we want them to come in the boys' campus and in the future girls' campus and just be able to exhale. You don't have to put
Yeah.
on a tough facade. You
Right.
don't have to be
You're safe.
anything. You can just be yourself.
Be
You're safe.
authentic.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. Maybe teach them how to be young women, what it even means to be a lady. A lot of girls don't even know that term
Sure.
anymore.
Right.
How to, present yourself,
Mhm.
talking about fashion, hygiene, things like that to help them be young women.
That's
So
really cool.
same sort of format. It's still Victory Project. It's just going to be for girls.
So, in sticking with the theme of our podcast, can you give us just like a couple ways, 3 or 4 ways that you guys are trained to, or you plan to like help shift some of these students out of like a victim mindset or a mindset of it never gets better than this, or what do I have to look forward to, into like a higher, bigger, greater thought process?
Yeah. So one of the things that's really big for Victory Project is your attitude, effort, and consistency.
Ooh, yes.
And Monty always says, those are the 3 things that you can control. You can't control your circumstances. You can't control maybe what your mom is doing or isn't doing. You can't control where you live at as a young person, but you can control your attitude, your
Yeah.
effort, and your consistency. And so those things are really huge for us in pouring into young people. As long as you control those 3 things, you can go anywhere.
That's
you can
true.
do anything. Your circumstances do not control you. They don't hold you back. They don't write your story. You write your story.
Yeah.
And you unveil what God has always put inside of you. You do that. I always hear Monty tell young people that when they get their first paycheck or when they are improving their grades, when they weren't being successful in school and their grades are getting better, he's like, who did that? And they're like, oh, the tutors helped me and no, you did that.
Yeah.
You
that's
did the
good.
work. You controlled your attitude.
That's
You had a
good.
positive attitude when you came in here. You gave it your best effort. You showed up to class. You did the work. You put the time in and you were
Mhm.
consistent with that. And
Right.
look at what you did.
I
So I
love
think
the
those things are huge,
ownership
yeah.
over shifting that mindset, from it's not possible. No, you did it.
You did
I
it.
didn't do it. Victory Project didn't do it.
Yeah.
You had to show up. You had to embrace those 3 things.
Mhm.
And then you got the reward for it.
Yeah.
The tangible,
Yeah.
physical manifestation of your hard work.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
the consistency piece is so important and powerful, especially in today's day with social media and instant gratification, because consistency is delayed gratification, which is
Yeah.
really the key, I think, to climbing out of anything. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Whether
Mhm.
that's debt or a negative headspace. It's not giving up when it doesn't work the first 5 times. It's
Yeah.
saying, no, I'll do
Yeah.
it 15 times. I'll finish my homework 15 times and see where my grade is.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
I'll show up to Victory Project every week for a year and see how I feel differently after.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah, and that's built into the program. So, we believe in love and accountability. And these kids have to come Monday through Thursday. Those are mandatory days. If you want to earn the eligibility to work, you got to show up. You have to be
Mhm.
consistent around the board. So it's just really important to teach them, like, we're holding you accountable because we love you.
Yeah.
We want you to be consistent because we love you and we know that it works.
So when you show up in love, and I think this is important for our listeners that are parents, because a lot of times we have, children in our own homes who are struggling and they aren't maybe embodying the best version of themselves, the highest version of themselves. And we enable because we don't hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And I love that you have this 3-step process rooted in love. That love isn't passive. It's not enabling. It's actually love through accountability.
Right.
It's not necessarily tough love, like, but it is love through accountability. And I am going to love you enough to tell you you are capable of more.
Mhm,
And I'm going to hold
mhm.
you to that standard, or you don't get the reward.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
will see there is a consequence
Mhm.
for whatever action you choose, good or bad. And I think, if you can do that with kids who are coming in from birth with these mindsets that nothing is possible for them, if you can break that, mom at home, you can too.
Yeah.
And what were the
Yeah.
3 you said? Attitude, consistency,
Effort.
and
Yeah,
effort.
effort and consistency, AEC.
Okay.
AEC, I love that.
It could also be ACE, AC.
Yeah.
If you want
I mean, if you want to make it cuter.
Okay with changing that.
I mean, parenting's hard. We're all moms here.
It is,
And there's
yeah.
great days and there's really hard days. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes when we're able to enable, like pick something up and fix it for them, we do that. And the thing with Victory Project is you guys can't. You have how many students? You have them
Yeah.
for how many
Yeah.
hours a day? So you can go in and show up and be consistent because you might not have the resources to whatever,
Yeah.
And that's not easy for you. You guys, I mean, there might be times that the story probably tugs on your heartstrings and you want to make it
Absolutely.
easier for them.
Absolutely.
You have it so hard outside of here. I want you to come here and exhale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, that's not going to serve you long term. And I'm
Yeah.
here to love you for the long term, not just in the short moment.
Yeah, one of the program directors was just sharing a story the other day about a young man whose parent is, smoking weed every day. And he's gotten into that just because his parent is doing
Of
that.
course.
And so the boys do get randomly drug tested.
They do.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. Just happens. It might be your day, on a
Mhm.
Monday. And he's gotten drug tested and came back positive. And his program director's like, hey, like, what's going on? He shares the situation like, it's around me all the time. My parent is doing it. Like, it's so hard to stop. And he's like, I want you to be here, but you can't be smoking weed and also be here. And so it's that like accountability. It's that love. It's like, I want to help you as much as I can help you. But I can't just let you come and you're constantly doing this. So,
Breaking the
maybe you
rules.
maybe you need to take a break. And so, we do have supplementals for the boys, it's like, hey, you can't play basketball for 2 weeks, we'll re-drug test you in a couple weeks, to see where you're
Smart.
at.
Yeah.
Or if you can't, you don't do well on the supplemental, then we'll release you from the program. It's not an absolute that you be a part of Victory Project. It is a voluntary membership program.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be released from Victory Project, but we have a never forever clause. You're never out forever. You can come back.
That's awesome.
You can come back. And we've had several boys be released and, maybe they were dealing with life situations, just dealing with some things. They needed to learn how to have a better attitude, bring better effort. And so they've come back after a couple months like, hey, I think I'm ready to do it.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
I think probably when they walk away, they're like an appreciation
Yeah.
is built.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, that was so great. That was so consistent. That felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing with this, like being a Christian organization, I think you guys are going to do what you can. And then you're going to say, God, we're just praying about it. And
Oh,
you take care of the
absolutely.
details. You put the right
Mhm.
people in their path. You open the right doors. You close the wrong doors. We're just trusting your process.
Yeah.
You can sleep at night knowing that.
That's why we say it's less about what we do.
Yeah.
And more about what we undo, because we're not doing anything. We are just helping to undo some of the things that these kids have learned so that they can become who God wants them to become. It's not us. We're not doing it. You know, Monty is quick to not take the credit. He's the most humble person I know.
He is.
He's not going to take the credit. He's not going to say, oh, this is an amazing program I created.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
Ego's
look at these
out
kids.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, look
Yeah.
at these kids. Look at what they're doing.
Right.
And a lot of times that unraveling, the undoing, you know, my mind sees it as like this ball of like knitting. What do they use for yarn? This ball, I'm like, what is it called? I need to untangle some things. But this ball of yarn where there's just all these different colors and they're all mixed up. And it's like, I can't see the forest for the trees. And you guys are just helping them because they have to do the work. And God's working through you to help them. And so that brings up a question. Do you treat each child the same that comes through? Each of these young men who come through and eventually young women that come through, they've all got their own things that they're bringing in, like the parent who's smoking, so they're smoking or whatever. But they may all need to unwind their yarn differently. And how do you individualize for them, or do you not? Or do they have to do that work themselves?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. Like there's consistency on our part. Like we want to uphold our end of the bargain and we want them to uphold their end of the bargain. So every student that comes in has membership basics that they've got to pass. They have to be able to say our philosophy, mission, vision, our core values, all from memory. And we have some kids who struggle with that. You know, there's different learning, you know, disabilities.
Not everyone's good at memorizing
that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
I'd be
work
terrible
that
about
the
that.
program directors will do to kind of help support them and help them through that. They have about 2 weeks to pass it. Sometimes the program directors are like, hey, they need a little bit more time. So let's give them another week or another 2 weeks, you know. But then there's, you know, we have a culture, and culture is really important to us. We want all of the kids who come through Victory Project to rise to the occasion, if I can say it like that.
Yeah.
We want them to put in the work. And so there's a story about a young man who could not read. He could not read.
Wow.
And he was really struggling to pass membership basics. Several of the students who knew him from school, they were helping him like, okay, it goes like this. And, you know, they're saying it, trying to get him to say it back. They gave him about 4 weeks to do it. He couldn't do it. So he got released from the program. During that time, he was having students from Victory Project help him at school to get the wording down, to be able to read the words, to memorize the basics so that he could come back and try again. And he came back, did it, and is in the program.
Look at that.
I love it.
You can put the work in.
Yeah.
You can put the work in. That
What a
story
great
right there
story.
just proves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating too. I have one child that has a learning disability, and so this girl has had to work her tail off since preschool to memorize the alphabet, to memorize sight words. I mean, it like hours and hours of tutoring, but she has the best work ethic.
Yeah.
Like her other sisters were just like easy breezy. They just memorized the alphabet and sight words, no problem. But I have no doubt her future is so bright because she knows how to put the work in, because she's had to since 3 years old or whatever.
Well, and I'm just thinking about that story. If you would have said, well, he can't do it because he can't read, we're just going to let him stay here, he never would have had to rise.
Yeah.
He never would have learned that he could dig that deep inside himself and overcome something. And for the rest of his life, people will say, tell me a time you're proud of. And I guarantee this will come to mind. And he'll say, let me tell you what happened to me and how I did the work.
Yeah.
And I
How
love
he
on
did
like
the work.
a spiritual level that maybe God is like, little guy, I need you to work really hard at this, because later down the road, you're going to have this other thing and it's going to be really hard, but I need you to have this evidence that you can do it. So I need you to have this hard experience in preparation for your future. I'm not trying to hurt you or hold you back or make you struggle. I'm trying to help you gain confidence and strength and wisdom that you got this.
Yeah. And a part of the that is a huge part of the program because the boys work on the weekends and they're using heavy equipment. They do landscaping and woodshop working. They've got to be able to read and understand directions for all of that stuff, or they can be hurt seriously.
True.
So it's all encompassing. It's
That's
not just, oh, we want you to memorize this because we really want you to.
Right. So when people come in, we can prove you can do it. Right.
Not even that. It's like, we see where you're going to go.
Right.
And we want to, like, to your point, help prepare you for that.
Yeah.
You know? The same
That's
way
awesome.
that God does that to us. Like, overcome this because there's something in front of you that you're going to have to.
You will never know. Maybe his whole point in that was to show other kids who come through, they can do it too.
And he can help someone else
Just
and say, like, I struggled.
Just
I'll
through
help
this
you.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay. A couple more questions.
Yeah, sure.
What advice would you give to a mom struggling, like maybe their kid is on the wait list, but they have a really difficult child at home? Or a mom in the suburbs struggling with a difficult kid? What advice would you give to that mom to help her child rise up?
Yeah. So our boys program does not have a wait list.
Oh,
So
love
mom, if you have a boy who needs to be a part of Victory Project, bring them to come do a tour, to hear all about the program. We would love to have them be a part. So for the girls, because we've got a wait list right now, I've actually had some people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm really struggling with my daughter. I'm really struggling with this young lady. And I've referred them to other girl programs in the city. We are not the only nonprofit after school program.
Nice.
There are other ones. And I don't ever want anyone to wait on getting help for their child just because our program hasn't started.
Sure.
So I'm referring them out. And then the other thing that I'll say is, I think it's so important that young people have other voices besides their parents to speak to them.
Such a good point.
It's huge. I see it in my kids. My daughter is 12. I have a son who's 14, and they're 7th, 9th grade. And the impact that people have, that other voices have aside from ours, is huge. They'll come and tell me things that someone told them that I know I said to them. And it's like new to them. Like, oh, so-and-so told me to do this. And I already told you that, but okay. So I think seeking out and truly praying and asking God to send you people, it might be a friend. Like my best friend is an aunt to my kids, but they can reach out to her and ask her questions and say things to her and know that they can do that in a safe space. Sometimes as parents, we're just a little harder on our kids.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah,
and
we say one thing and then they tell us something and we're like, okay, now you're grounded.
Exactly. We don't give them the space to say something and then not be judged and not get in trouble for it.
True.
So they need other voices. They need other people to speak into their lives.
Yeah. I have a client and she has high schoolers in college and middle and elementary, all the ages actually. But she said, that same thing, like your kids sometimes don't hear you and your advice or your wisdom or your clarity. And she was like, it reminds me of in the Bible, like Jesus wasn't a prophet in his hometown.
Yeah.
And I think, right? When you hear that, it's like, oh, and it's true because I think our kids know our flaws. They see us lose our temper or be lazy or whatever. And they're like, ugh, you're giving me advice. Like it's that kind of
Or they've heard grandma's story about us when we were their age. And they're like, I remember what grandma said.
Right.
Okay. Another question. How do you help students let go of their past resentments and anger?
I think that our program is really good because we include praise and worship and Bible study. And I think really the only way that you can truly let go of these past things is through a relationship with the Lord. Now, there are some kids in our program who don't come from a Christian background. We have some students who are part of our program who are different religions. Their family are different religions. So it's not a requirement that you be a Christian to be a part of Victory Project. But you are going to be exposed to it. You are going to get the praise and worship aspect. You're going to get the Bible study. And I think that that's where a lot of the undoing happens. I see it with some of the young men who are at our high school. So one of our program directors is a youth pastor at his church. And a lot of these boys who are all from group homes have started going to church with him. They've gotten saved. They've gotten baptized. They are always talking about their relationship with the Lord. And so I think a lot of it. So thinking about the young men that are coming to mind, I'm like, I don't see that anger and that resentment for their past and for what's happened in their life and for how this person rejected them and this person abandoned them. I don't see that. And so I think a lot of it is coming from God undoing things in them and giving them a purpose, showing them something different, that He's always had a plan for their life.
And I think helping them come to that conclusion on their own as you are putting them in those circumstances, right? You're sharing the stories, you're letting them praise, and then that's opening the door for God to work through them on their time. Yeah, and helping them get to that point. And if you want to, listener, if you want to have stories of people who have overcome really tough things, open a Bible. It's chock full. You don't have to look far. Open it anywhere, and you've got a story, right? And so it's full of people who could have claimed victimhood, and God worked through them to make them people we are still reading about today and getting changed, our lives getting changed because of it. So I love that. I think that's really great. And one of the other things that keeps coming up in my mind as you're talking that I think people at home can apply in their own worlds, it's really about who you're surrounding yourself with. It's the people around you, because it's just story after story of this kid's struggling, but then his peers came in and lifted him. We want everybody to rise together. They're in this group home, and now they're able to outnumber the noise, and they're bringing everybody up with them. So I think really looking at who are you shoulder to shoulder with every day? Are you shoulder to shoulder with somebody? Could be that auntie to your child because your child doesn't feel comfortable. Do you feel comfortable with them being the voice in their head?
Good
and if
point.
the answer is no, I think there's something we need to look at there.
It's all directions. You're right. That's such a good point. It's like not just who your kids hold company with, but also who the adults in their life hold company with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boys they're so supportive of each other. It's like really a brotherhood for real. Like they're encouraging each other, they're supporting each other, praying for each other. They just really lock in with one another. And they want, when they have new recruits come in, they want them to be a part and join the brotherhood. It's like a little family.
I will say my dad is total introvert, just retired, and he's not a big hobby person. And so he's like, what am I going to do? And he's like, engineer, math guy. And I said, you need to go volunteer at Victory Project. And he's like, okay. So I sent him the email. He signs right up. And I was like, how's it going, Dad? And he's like, well, good. And we worked this problem and this. And he's like, this one boy really latched onto me. I think it's because I know trigonometry.
He got him with the trig.
So impressed with the boys because they want the homework help. They want to learn. And just my dad's brain, he just brings a notebook and he's like, sometimes we don't have enough room to work the problem. So I just get out my paper and I'm like, good, Dad, good. Yeah. But it's just but he's enjoying it. And he is not, he's never gone to Victory Project beyond tutoring. He's never done, he would do dinner if I asked him to, but he's really impressed with the student body. Great way to do something kind of fun and different.
Yeah, I think it's finding your place. There's a term floating around now for people who are retired. It's refiring them. So finding your new purpose.
Oh yes, the fire within.
Yeah. Refiring, firing them up. Oh, that's good. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, that might be a sour.
Yeah.
So you're not just supposed to retire and then just go off and not do anything anymore. It's if you're alive, God still has something for you to do.
Yeah.
There's still purpose there. And so I think a lot of people are finding that refiring, in Victory Project.
Oh, I think we just found the topic for our refiring your purpose. I think for sure.
I've heard this said before, we all know the saying, you don't use it, you lose it. And I think that goes for just so many things. If you're really good at math, like my dad and this engineer brain, if he's not working it, eventually it goes away. Or if you're just sitting and scrolling and living a blobby life, you're going to lose your muscle mass or whatever. So I agree. It's that reigniting of a passion, a purpose for your life. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you don't try. So go to Victory Project and see.
True.
Is this where I belong?
Yeah. And sometimes I think people are a little hesitant because they're like, oh, they're young girls. Maybe they won't want to talk to me because I'm this age or,
Yeah.
But you never know.
My favorite age group is this age group. Because
you are unique, Peggy.
These girls, they love an adult who comes in and shows them what's possible. If you can be that person and look them in the eye and just say, tell me everything. You can't shock me. Tell me everything. They will. Oh, they will.
Yeah.
All right, Jessica, I have to ask because I think everyone loves a feel-good story.
Okay.
So I just want to hear one or two like super success stories about some kids that have gone through the program at Victory Project.
Sure. So I met one young man at our Christmas party who was one of like the original Victory
Oh, an
Project
OG.
students.
An original gentleman.
Right, exactly.
And you said it's been around 17 years. So it was
Yeah.
like that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And he came in with his wife and kids, and Monty's told me his story 1,000 times, but he was one of the ones who had been involved in the court system. And he was that young man who was the head of his household, who was taking care of his grandma and having to provide for his siblings and was getting into some trouble doing that.
To make the
Sure.
money.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Sure.
he had a jury, some type of something that with the court system, Monty went to it and was like, hey, I want this young man to be a part of this program that I'm starting. I think it can
Wow.
help him. And he was a part of the program, ended up graduating from high school, has his own business now,
What's his
has
business?
his family. It's something in the trades.
Nice.
Has his own business, has a family, bought his first house, wife, kids, like doing
Wow.
amazing. Still comes
Wow.
back to Victory Project.
Oh.
Monty has his picture, kind of like his mugshot
Yeah.
next to his like graduation picture. Yeah.
That's hilarious. But you just look at God's protection over his life because Monty, not that Monty saved him, God saved him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Monty was the instrument who showed up. Things could have gone very different that day for that kid. He could have a very different life right now.
Yeah.
It's all about little choices. Like everyday little choices are going to change the total trajectory of your path. And it's all individual. Like you can choose left or right. It could just lead different roads completely. That's awesome.
But one of the things we say is everything is always working in your favor. And look at how it was literally that they crossed paths.
Yeah.
He sparked something in Monty. Monty showed up and he's living a totally, and who knows? I mean, he's still a young man. So who knows how many lives are going to be changed because of that one moment in time.
Right. And even like him getting caught doing the bad thing or whatever, that was the biggest blessing and gift in his life.
Yeah.
That was God saying, no, I don't want you to keep going this way. I have a whole way better plan for you. Get so excited.
That's such a good point because in that moment,
he probably thought this is the worst thing that could ever happen.
And he could have made some pretty significant decisions based on that belief system that would have prevented everything happening the way that it did.
And there's story after story after story, just like that, of young men who were headed in the wrong direction. I mean, you can go on our YouTube channel under Victory Project and you can see so many different stories, so many young men sharing pictures of themselves with guns.
Wow.
Because they were that involved in the streets, that involved in gangs and just joining Victory Project and God starting that undoing process. And now these young men are graduating from high school, getting scholarships to go to college, joining the military, getting involved in the trades. Like there is story after story after story of what God has done through Victory Project.
That is so cool.
And, listener, if God can do that here with these kids, think of what God can do in your life. You got to open yourself up to possibility and not stay stuck in victimhood, not stay stuck in this thought pattern of this is all it is. This is as good as it's going to get. I'm this suburban mom and there's nothing better for me. You've got a heart, you've got a mind, you're breathing air, you can change your circumstances and you can show up at Victory Project.
Right.
And be a part of something so much bigger than you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's amazing. Okay, this one guy that came and talked at a fundraiser we had a few years back. Do you know his story?
No.
I got to think of his name. Maybe it'll come to you. But he was homeless, living on the streets in Dayton with his uncle. And then I think they got housing somehow. And then he got into Victory Project, went through the program. And it was during like the Black Lives Matter police brutality was happening. And Monty talked to the kids and was like, listen, if you want to make a difference, don't be a part of the violence or hate. Go make a difference. Go become a police officer and be the best police officer out there. Help people, get involved. So this boy did. So he went on to police academy and now he's a police officer in West Dayton.
Oh, yeah. Now I know who you're talking about.
It's ringing a bell now.
Yeah.
And I run into him at Whole Foods all the time because we both like Whole Foods, apparently. And he told me he's applying to work for the FBI in Washington,
Wow,
D.C.
that's awesome.
And I remember telling him at this fundraiser, he shared his story, and just like a cool, calm, chill guy. I was like, who better to be a police officer than you, who you're like, I was homeless. Like, you are me and I am you, and you can become this. You can become anything you want.
Yeah.
And someone to
Yeah.
say, hey, you need to check out Victory Project. Like, I'm arresting you right now or whatever, but there's another way. And I took
Mhm.
that path, and it's great, and you should too.
Yeah.
And then now working for the FBI from homeless? Like, are
Right.
you kidding?
Right.
That's what I love about Victory Project. Another time we went to serve dinner, and there was a boy checking out the Victory Project. He wasn't in the club yet. He hadn't memorized the stuff yet. And like another boy, and I had my kids with me, and another boy had talked to, they were just all talking, and I bring my daughters, and so they're all like, the girls, And the one boy mentioned an anklet. And one of my daughters was like, show me your ankle to this kid. And he had an ankle monitor on. And we had brought her friend to come serve dinner too. And the friend was like, should we be scared, Veronica? And she's like, no, this is a Victory Project. We're not scared. No. And so we get in the car and they're telling me about the ankle monitor and this and that. And I said, girls, let me tell you what I love. Society on the whole, overall, typically would say this kid's deadbeat, loser.
Yeah.
He'll be a menace to society.
Mhm.
And Victory Project sees him and says, we like you. We think you got what it takes. Get in here. We want to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that how God does us?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
How are we any better? We're walking around with all kinds of monitors on us, right?
right.
Like, oh, we're
The
enslaved
heart
to
is
so many
desperately
things.
wicked.
And
Yeah.
not to mention, like, all the people in Bible stories God used were like
Mhm.
Hot Mess Express. He
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, you're the most perfect, unclean, whatever. Come on. No.
Who wants to
Yeah.
hear that story? I don't want to hear that story.
It makes us feel bad about
That's
ourselves.
not my story.
That is not my story either. Let me tell you, still Hot Mess Express
Yeah.
over here on the
Yeah.
reg. So,
But yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're so excited for you guys. And we are.
we are.
Thank
so
you
excited.
for coming in and being on the show.
Of course. Thank you guys for
And
having
we're
me.
Yeah.
This has
we'll
been
link
fun.
some things.
People can, send any money that you send, lots of money
Absolutely. Right.
and time, whatever your
Yeah.
treasure
Yeah.
is.
And
give
if
it.
you loved this
Mhm.
episode and you have someone that you think would love to get involved or love to hear it, be inspired, please like it, share it, subscribe.
all the
Yeah,
things. Find
yeah.
us on Instagram. We'll have some journal notes in the show notes also. We will see you the next time. But remember, you've got this.
You got this.
All right. That's our shift for today.
Go live, laugh, and do one bold thing before the next episode drops.
Follow us at No More Bullshift and keep the conversation going.
Because if you can't laugh about it,
You probably still need to shift it.